I don't need to talk much because I always believe those who know it best should talk about it. And my main job here today is to welcome you all to this very occasion and to thank Mrs. Nkechi Ali Balogun for sustaining this program for the past 23 years. And sustaining it for the past 23 years means advocacy and awareness to the public what this scourge that is biting hard in our society. And we will try our possible best to sustain that program so that she will continue to educate people and create awareness in this very illicit trade. Young people, I'm happy you people are here because most of it is directed at you people too, because these days it's not the young shall grow, but the young shall be involved. It's good to involve the young people in government. You know, it's not when you get to the top, you start learning how to be. You start belonging and being part of events so that in future you are conversant with whatever assignment you are given. And I'd like you to pay attention properly to those experts who are ready to talk to us today on the topics this morning. Apart from that, I just like to welcome all of you present here today. Maybe at the end of the session, I will thank you all once again. Thank you very much for being part of this organization, and welcome. And we have an able moderator who is very vast and very articulate. She will continue with the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Only two things to say just before we move on. When I was talking to Mrs. Ali Balogun about the program, and I think by now you know I call her Mrs. A. So I would normally say to her, tell me a bit about, you know, the keynote speaker. Tell me. She said, and you know we're from Bendel State, so we speak Pidgin. He said, I won't tell you, and I'm respectfully calling you your first name. He said, I won't tell you, say, Daisy professional. If they come early, if they do things by the book, you sabiam. I say only for newspaper now, sabiam. So I think she has lived up, you know, true to type of what Mrs. A, you know, had said to me. Thank you for encouraging us. Thank you for encouraging the students more so. And I'm particularly, you know, excited about encouraging the students. They say that the young shall grow. You say the young will be involved. You know, all of you just thinking that we are so old. You know, this aging is also turn by turn. But actually, moving on to our next speaker, would like to invite our keynote speaker. And I know that the media, we've had one or two technical issues. I'd like to see if we are ready. Again, I thoroughly enjoyed reading her profile. If the media is ready, then I am ready. But our keynote speaker is Professor Adeyeye, and she's not coming up now. Can we please give her a round of applause? Okay, the media says to me that they are ready. We'll give them the opportunity to do the introductions, and I would fill in any gaps should there be any. Please go ahead, media.
Professor Mojisola Adeyeye graduated from University of Nigeria, Nsukka, with a B.Pharm degree in 1976, MS and PhD from the University of Georgia Athens in Industrial Pharmacy in 1985 and 1988 respectively. She started her career at the University of Puerto Rico as an assistant professor and moved on to Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, USA, where she spent 21 years, during which she went through the academic career advancement to full professor of pharmaceutics and drug product evaluation. She moved on to take on the position of founding chair of the new Department of Biopharmaceutical Sciences in the then new College of Pharmacy, Roosevelt University in Chicago, during which she hired 12 new faculty and staff built 4 research laboratories, and led a thriving research faculty in a different emphasis. Her research interests include quality by design, early phase development in manufacturing of solid, semi-solid, and liquid dosage forms, including investigation of new drug application based on late phase manufacturing. She is an expert in pharmaceutical research and development, benched beside transactional clinical research and regulatory science. She has mentored over 15 PhD and MS candidates and co-advised 18 graduate students as a research committee member. She retired in 2017 to 2018 to start her own company, Elim Pediatric Pharmaceuticals. But that was short-lived because she was appointed few months after as Director General, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC), a position she's holding to date. From 2017 and 2022, Professor Adeye has added strong governance structure and regulatory strengthening to NAFDAC through discipline and motivating workforce, updating of regulations and guidelines, strengthening the local pharmaceutical companies through international best practices, and encouraging local production. She has brought NAFDAC from insolvency to solvency. She refocused the agency through quality management system approach and WHO global benchmarking to be standard operating procedure-driven organization that has embraced international standards and best practices. This has resulted in attainment of ISO 9001-2015 and WHO Maturity Level 3. She changed the culture of NAFDAC to customer-focused and agency-minded establishment in order to safeguard the health of the nation. The Director General has been very involved in the lot of release, safety monitoring and traceability of COVID-19 vaccines nationally and continentally. Traceability as a means of making the supply chain visible has been expanded to include nationwide training and non-vaccines commodities, specifically anti-malarials, antiretroviral, anti-tuberculosis, and narcotics are underway. She has initiated research collaboration with several institutions as a means of increasing staff competency. Honors and awards: Fellow, Nigerian Academy of Science, Fellow, Nigeria Academy of Pharmacy, Academic Research Fellow, American Association of Colleges of Pharmacy, AACP, J. William Fulbright Senior Specialist, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Nigeria. First African Woman Fellow, American Association of Pharmaceutical Scientists, AAPS. Only 3% of academia receives such recognition internationally. J. William Fulbright Scholar Award for African Regional Research Program on AIDS and AIDS-related research, University of Lagos, Idiaraba, Lagos, and National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, IDU, FCT, Nigeria. That's not all. Professor Mojisola Adeye received over 50 awards of excellence in regulatory systems and management sciences, School of Pharmacy, Duke University, Pittsburgh, USA. Apart from several academic publications, pedagogy, and groundbreaking works in her fields of expertise, Professor Mojisola Adeye has 68 books, book chapters, and peer-reviewed research publications to her name, 6 patents, and over 160 scientific papers at invited U.S. national and international meetings. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome the Neccipr Roundtable, our keynote speaker, Professor Mojisola Adeye.
Wow, wow, wow. Please keep the applause coming. Please just keep it coming through for a worthy recognition.
To God be the glory. Great things he has done. I'm very, very humbled to be here today. The life of the DG NAFDAC has been taken over. So for me to be here is, I believe, is a blessing, an opportunity, a privilege, especially seeing the younger ones. I believe my call in life is to mentor young people. So when I see them, they melt my heart. Because in 30 years, 20, thank you. because we will be handing over to them. And if we don't build a legacy project, there will not be anything for them to take over. I would like to thank Mrs. Ali Balogun for this legacy project. 23 years is not a joke. In Africa, we rarely have legacy projects. And for this to be running for over 20 years, I want to say thank you very much. And I want to thank Senator Danjuma for the support that she has given, and she will be given, continue to give to this project. All protocols observed. Again, thank you so much for this gathering. The reason for being here is a big one for me as DG NAFDAC. It is a great pleasure and honor for me to give this keynote speech on the 21st Neccipr Roundtable. The topic of this address, fighting the scourge of illicit trade in the pharma industry, the role of communication, is very, very apt, considering the expeditious need to promote local manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients and to move Nigeria from an importer of finished pharmaceutical products to a country where all classes of finished pharmaceutical products are manufactured. These connected activities are key agenda points of the current administration, for which success will engender economic diversification. I would like to specially commend Mrs. Nkechi Ali Balogun, the founder of the Neccipr Roundtable, for the diligent job she has done in pulling this caliber of speakers together, because we are more than certain that the theme will be comprehensively deliberated upon. In today's world of globalization, innovations, technological advancements, exponential growth in e-commerce and global trade facilitation, illicit trade in fake goods has continued to be a significant and growing threat to economies globally. The socio-economic impact of this menace for any nation is enormous. In addition to harming the economy, generally, it also has the potential to weaken the rule of law and erode public confidence in the government. When it comes to medicines, the proliferation of substandard falsified medicines that are called SFs has even greater and significant dangerous public health ramifications, as well as detrimental effects on the pharma industry. What is illicit trade? It involves the manufacturing, the distribution, and sale of goods that are prohibited by domestic and/or international law. It includes dealing with products that, due to their characteristics, are illegal in all or some jurisdictions. Substandard falsified medicines, by WHO definition, is called out of specification medicine. And these medicines fail the quality standards or specifications or both. They are essentially made by reputable manufacturers with no desire to deceive or scam the patient. They are essentially made by disreputable manufacturers with no desire for the health of the patient. I'm going to, the quotation is actually wrong, so I'm correcting it. Falsified medicines. The WHO defines falsified medicines as a medicine that is deliberately and fraudulently misrepresented in identity, composition, or source. Unknown manufacturers produce these medications under unhygienic and uncontrolled conditions. We see this every day in NAFDAC. They might contain harmful contaminants, inactive components, the wrong active pharmaceutical ingredients, or incorrect amounts of the right API. And some don't even have API at all. They just put lactose or starch together, if we are lucky, if they don't add something that is going to kill people. Falsified medications frequently have virtually the same packaging or even better packaging as the genuine medication, making it difficult to distinguish between the two without conducting some detection tests on the medication ingredients. What is the scale and the impact of the problem of illicit trade in Nigeria? From 2011 to 2018, May 16, NAFDAC was shut out of the Nigerian ports. NAFDAC was absent for 7 years. And when I joined NAFDAC in November 2017, I was shocked to the bone, because for the first 7 months or 8 months, I was fighting tramadol and codeine. Our children were getting mad. Married women were selling tramadol, codeine, or whatever. That was the status of the situation in Nigeria. Due to high demand, pharmaceuticals are particularly susceptible to falsification. The enormous financial rewards from dealing in substandard falsified medicines have lured domestic and foreign criminal organizations into this business. According to 2020 Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development European Observatory on Infringement of Intellectual Properties survey report, among the 97 documented product categories, medicines were the 10th most affected commodity between 2014 and 2016, based on records of seizures by customs. The same report estimates that in 2016, the value of global commerce in substandard falsified medicines or counterfeits reached $4.4 billion. This accounts for about 0.84% of all pharmaceutical product imports globally, but excludes a sizable amount of locally produced and consumed substandard falsified medicines. According to Interpol data, the market for falsified medical products could be as high as 30% in some economies, as well as over 20% in those of the former Soviet Union and East Europe. In the meta-analysis for 96 studies that examined 50 or more samples, it was estimated that the incidence of SF medicines in low and middle-income countries stood at 13.6%. The largest incidence, however, was observed in Africa, with 18.7% and 13.7% in Asia. According to the WHO Global Surveillance Monitoring System, the continent of Africa accounted for 42% of the 1,500 incidents of SFs and counterfeit medical products recorded between 2013 and 2017. There was a time when substandard falsified medicine prevalence in Nigeria was 40%. That was before 2008, 2007, I've forgotten, you know. But we have reduced it now to 9.7% because of so many multifaceted approaches that NAFDAC is using. The most frequently reported products by member states were antibiotics and anti-malarials, which accounted for about 36% of all the products. Currently in Nigeria, like I mentioned, substandard falsified anti-malarials have been reduced to about 10%, 9.7%. Available data seem to indicate that illicit trade in substandard medicines may have been exacerbated during the COVID-19 pandemic when we could not inspect facilities. There was a surge of 5% in seizures in 2020. Additionally, reports from Pharmaceutical Security Institute indicate a 38% increase in pharmaceutical crimes in 2020. So we are still battling the outcomes of COVID-19 pandemic because we are shutting down companies as we speak. We are sanctioning heavily because they kind of took the pandemic period as an advantage. Medications of all types and classifications are subject to falsification and counterfeiting. Even though lifestyle pharmaceuticals are typically the most targeted, substandard falsified medicines for life-saving purposes are growing at very fast rates globally. The most common groups include medicines for treatment of severe conditions like cancer, HIV/AIDS, and malaria. Like I mentioned, they also include antibiotics, painkillers, medications, and so on. All nations, patients of all ages, all therapeutic specialties, human drugs, vaccines, as well as vet drugs are impacted by illegal trade in substandard falsified medications. Even though it is more pronounced in developing nations than in developed ones, the illicit trade in SF medicines has a detrimental impact on the sales and profits of affected companies. That is where the branding comes in terms of protection of the branding. It also poses a serious threat to public health because these medications are frequently improperly formulated and may contain dangerous medications that can damage the heart, the liver, the kidney, cause treatment failures, cause drug resistance if it's antibiotics, and death. My own senior brother passed away September 2021. A year before he died, he called me, he said he couldn't walk. I said, why couldn't you walk? He said he has malaria. I said, if it's malaria, you may be weak, but not that you couldn't walk. Is it on your left side or right side? Thinking that he has stroke. He said, no, he bought some medicines, some anti-malaria medicines. I said, he has been itching for about a week. I said, did you use Piriton or whatever? He said he didn't work. And he lives in Ijesha, or he lived in Ijesha area where you have corner drugstores. Soon after that, he developed very serious kidney problem, which might have been cumulative. And he died painfully on dialysis in UCH. So this affects all of us. What I do in NAFDAC is not because the government gave me a job. No, it is because I want to protect myself also. Because my own family members, my own family members have suffered it. Your family members have suffered it one way or the other. All NAFDAC staff are customers. We are not regulators only, we are customers. That is why I pay attention to our regulations. In addition to increasing the cost of treating individuals who have experienced negative health effects because of using substandard falsified medicines, these medicines also place a greater burden on the nation's healthcare system and erode public confidence lot of our efforts in NAFDAC is to increase public confidence. And we cannot increase public confidence if we do not do our work well, if we do not think of the customer. That was why we changed our motto, or we added to our motto, customer-focused, agency-minded, and country-dedicated. If you are customer-focused, agency-minded, it means you love Nigeria. If you are not customer-focused, you may say whatever you want to say from now till eternity. You don't love this country because you don't care about your neighbor. In general, the legal trade in substandard falsified medicines has a multitude of negative effects. I've mentioned that. What are the challenges responsible for illicit trade? These constitute the factors responsible for the preponderance of illicit trade in the pharmaceutical industry. These are multifaceted, occurring globally, like I mentioned, but predominant in low-middle income countries. If a regulatory agency is weak, you better know that there will be substandard falsified medicines galore. So absence or existence of weakened National Medicine Regulatory Agency, very, very important. That was why we had to start with quality management system in 2018, just 2 months after I took over. What is quality management system? Is thinking, brainwashing, washing our brains from the crowd that have been there for years. God allowed me to go through that training in one of my universities in the US. The new president came and said, oh, he has looked at the books, he has looked at the system, and everybody in that university needs to get their brains washed with training. I used that when I got to NAFDAC. We got our brains washed, and we are still washing our brains from crowd. If you look at our website, nafdac.gov.ng, the first thing that jumps at you now is anti-corruption. I couldn't have done that 5 years ago because our brains were not washed at all. We are still going through quality management system. Self-auditing, looking at yourself and seeing all the whatever that could be there. Not judging yourself by yourselves. Let others judge you through international standards. That is what we have done, and by the grace of God, we are now maturity level 3. Only 30% of all the 194 regulatory agencies in the world have maturity level 3. Because of public health. That is all. It's not because we wanted some award somewhere, because of public health. If we are strong, the pharmaceutical industry is strong, our people are healthier. Another challenge, abuse of free trade zones and other lawful trade facilitations. People say they are in free trade zones and they don't want to be regulated. That is not going to happen, and we keep telling them it will not happen. Because if you sell bad medicines, we will meet you in the market and seize such products. Another reason is uncoordinated drug distribution and supply chain system. Our supply chain system was chaotic, very chaotic, because we were not strong. We were -1 in that cadre of 1 to 4 in 2017. We were -1. So, what else could go wrong? But we are now maturity level 3, and we are not there yet. We are going through global WHO auditing as we speak in NAFDAC. Because we are maturity level 3, that doesn't mean they're not going to monitor us. They will continue to monitor us. And we'll continue to do self-auditing every year. What has helped us now is technology. In 2019, we launched the former Minister of Health, Dr. Ehanire, launched the traceability system, national traceability strategy. What is that? It is using technology to monitor where the medicines go. GS1-driven technology. We have very sharp young people in this country. You put them to use, you give them the reasons for wanting to excel, they will. Nigeria is leading in the use of traceability or barcoding system in Africa. And we are leading, actually we are leading in the use of that technology globally in terms of monitoring of COVID-19 vaccines. All the vaccines that came into the country during the pandemic, we monitored them. If you go to Traceability Information System, which is password accessed, and you want to know where Moderna batch 2 or batch 1, batch X went, you can press the button and you will see the map of the country where all Moderna batches, that particular batch went. We have used that technology to recall one batch that was not good. We ask primary health to distribute and ask them to wait until we give the final approval. We give tentative approval 48 hours and the final approval 2 weeks. On the 13th day, we saw that the sterility of one was compromised. Immediately, I called my traceability lead person, young officer. I said, John, where is this batch? He just pressed the button. Within 2 minutes, he said, they are where this state, that state. I called the primary health executive director, Dr. Faisal. I said, Faisal, we want this batch recalled immediately. Within 2 days, they were in Abuja. That is the power of technology. That is what is changing the paradigm for NAFDAC. Another problem we have or challenge is drug hawking. It's almost like a hydra. You cut one part of it, it grows. In terms of fighting drug hawking, we are hoping that there will be a legislation that will ban drug hawking. Why? Because many of the products that are there are not protected. The people that are selling them are not educated. Many of them sell herbal medicines, liquids that will have grown because of the temperature, humidity, will have become a culture for bacteria. And they give it to a child, the child will start having seizures. And they will say it's Ogbanje or Abiku. No. So we are praying that our legislation or the National Assembly will have a legislation to ban drug hawking. It is NAFDAC and Pharmacy Council of Nigeria that are regulators for that. Another problem is increasing use of postal courier services for dispatch of small parcels. I was at a meeting with International Narcotics Control Board 2 days ago. We are going to increase our sensitization on that. Bringing customs, bringing postal groups together and other stakeholders to let them know that what you may carry, what you may be delivering may be killing people. So that sensitization is going to happen first quarter of 2024. I mentioned advanced technologies. You cannot use advanced technologies if you are a bankrupt regulatory agency because it is money that you're going to use to buy those technologies. We became fiscally responsible from meeting to 3.2 billion naira debt, paying it in 1 year, and people say you must have money. No, we didn't have money. In advanced countries, if you are bankrupt, they take over your business. An accounting firm will be managing your business. We didn't even have money to hire an accounting firm to manage our business. I started managing it myself.
And I told them I'm going to cut to the bone. And in 1 year, we paid it off. But it was hard. We didn't have money. I just used that opportunity to teach us how not to owe debt. It was up till today, people still joke with me. How much is this? We can use this, a little bit of this towards vehicle. Because when I got to NAFDAC, there were no functioning vehicles as such. And we use vehicles to inspect. No director had a laptop. NAFDAC bought laptop. The laboratory, 70 to 80% of the equipment were not working. How can you then test illicit medicine? We disciplined ourselves, and the results were reaping. When I was young, there was a Yoruba song, Owo la fin kole, owo la fin shekirika, owo. That was how I was brought up. Yes, I respect money. I have to respect money because you can use money to change so many things. And that is what is happening. So using it for technology, we have detection devices now that you place on top of a tablet, and it will tell you, the identification of that tablet and the level of medicine in that tablet. Corruption is another problem. It is endemic in our society. I was telling, we were talking before this, before we came up into the room, how Nigeria has changed. We don't know where to run to. Is it the mosque? Is it church? Is it school? In terms of morality, it's very hard to find. Reduce risk of prosecution. That's a challenge. Somebody is carrying tramadol and you find that person 5 years or 250,000 naira. That person will go to the ATM, get it 250,000 naira and go back. So what I do, I don't need jail time. I just need the pocket to hurt by sanctioning. That's what we have been doing. Non-deterrent laws and weak penalties. That is part of our problem. We have what is called the C-34 bill that the council amended or redone, or they redid it. And we have a friendly members amendment in the House of Rep. It has gotten concurrence. However, the 10th Assembly, I believe, will sign it into law. Because if it doesn't hurt the pocket, there is no deterrent. So the fines are, I think, 10 times more than what they used to be, especially now with Naira falling down like crazy. The challenge also is profitability. Illicit medicine or dealing illicit medicine is profitable for the unscrupulous. And that is why they can go to any length to protect their business. Another reason is proliferation of rogue online pharmacies and unregulated sales. NDLEA and NAFDAC are on this. Pharmacy Council of Nigeria is part of this fight. This is a challenge in the age of social media. Ignorance. When I was young, they would say, you can take it. The blood will burn it out. You can take something, the blood will burn it. Eje is not going to do anything. Ignorance. We use, even our food, we use pesticide as if it is something that the more you use, the better. No, there are limits in terms of handling of chemicals. So ignorance of the society, that is why we are gathering here, is so important. For these young people to take the message out, for all of us to take the message out, we have to. There is nobody, unless you didn't go to secondary school. You Google, I do not understand X. You will see many people that have asked such stupid questions. So you are not the only stupid ones. So there is no excuse for not knowing. If our parents are not literate, we tell them that this is the way it's supposed to be. So ignorance is a big problem. Poverty. This is an oil that greases the wheels of illicit trade and substandard falsified medicines. Poverty and high cost of living are strong driving forces for many engaged in the purchase of substandard falsified medicines. You have a medicine that is 10 naira, another one is 100 naira. People will want to buy the 10 naira, whereas the 10 naira is death in a capsule. What are the actions taken by NAFDAC? In the execution of our mandate, which is to regulate and control the manufacture, importation, exportation, distribution, advertisement, sale, and use of 7 regulated products, drugs and foods are included. The agency promotes the safety of the lives of Nigerians by ensuring that only safe and right quality food, medicines, and all are manufactured, imported, exported, advertised, and so on. This way, we are propelling the country towards the achievement of universal health coverage with improved access to safe, effective, quality medicines. I'm a realist. NAFDAC is a microcosm of the society. We have dismissed a lot of our staff because of corruption. That is why where we are now is better than where we used to be. We have not arrived, but much, much better. It is changing the mindset, knowing that the opportunity to work is a privilege. It is not an opportunity to siphon money from the pocket of people. So, our quality management system, our drive for international standards are some of the points that are helping us in NAFDAC in terms of mitigating substandard falsified medicines. We attained ISO 9001 in 2019. That was the brainwashing ISO, where you think of the customer first before your pocket. And we got our maturity level 3, March of 2022. And we are going for maturity level 4 and what is called World Listed Authority. That is like specialist status. Once we get that, it is an assurance that illicit trading, substandard falsified medicines, prevalence are going down, because they judge us on the evidence and the performance of our activities. We have laboratories now. I mentioned we had laboratories then also, but there were no equipment. We save money to get equipment. Our equipment are very costly. The pieces are very costly. You can get one for 300 million naira. One piece of equipment. It is the money you save, that is the money you use to buy equipment to identify what is illicit, what is not illicit. We have our labs certified, and we have the biologics vaccines lab certified for the first time in 2019, and recertification is actually the most important. We have commenced phased implementation of GS1-driven track and trace. I've mentioned that. It is a pride for us that our own young people, you give them where to reach, they will reach it if you give them the resources. And that is what we are doing. Deployment of cutting-edge technologies, I've mentioned that. We call it TrueScan. One is about $60,000, but it's like a cell phone. It is money that we use for that. We have to raise our money through frugal means or frugal savings of our resources, because the government pays our salary. All the other things, mostly we have to be responsible, and the government has a good reason for thinking that, because we bring in a lot of products and we have to charge the customers. We also have establishment of new pharmaceutical plants in Nigeria. You cannot have a new pharmaceutical plant now without us seeing the blueprint, architectural blueprint. Because if it is not right from the beginning, there will be cutting of corners once the walls go up. When we started this journey in 2018, our pharmaceutical manufacturers were a little disturbed, but later they bought into it. They bought into it, and now some of our medicines are being bought or will be bought by National Health Insurance Authority. They will be branded because we now have quality products. We have companies, a lot of companies that we watch like a hawk, and that we have separated those that can really make it and those that are coming up. It's not a static assessment. We have centralized good manufacturing practice setting. Before it was diffused, it was all over. There was no, 36 states were doing whatever they like, but now it is centralized and well monitored. One good thing that has happened to us in terms of mitigating substandard falsified medicines is what is called the Clean Report Inspection Analysis Scheme, CRIA. It is a pre-shipment scheme that I met on the ground, but there were loopholes. So we went to India and China. I went with about 7 or 8 staff, and I read them the Riot Act. In China, in India, I said, you want to trade with us? You respect us. And the result has been enormous, because our laboratories there, we actually signed contract agreement with us. What are the equipment that you have? We went there, we checked, make sure they have the equipment, they are certified by Indian or Chinese, whatever. Since March of 2020, we have stopped over 120 consignments. And consignment is not one container. I'm talking drug products, rather. One drug product is not one container. It is approval for 5 years. That may be hundreds of containers along over 5 years. So the pre-shipment CRIA scheme is working very well. Everybody say, oh, NAFDAC CRIA. Yes, because the lives of our people matter to us. Post-marketing surveillance. Post-marketing surveillance, through our maturity level 3 journey, we do not test all products now. We use risk-based surveillance. There are some products that we have to test. Sterile products, products that can easily degrade, that have intrinsic properties. Others, we approve, and we wait for them in the market. If because they can change products on us, even those that have good formulations at the beginning. We wait for them in the market. We survey every year using statistical approach to take samples. And if the products fail, the pocket of that company must hurt very badly. Because we will sanction them. We will blacklist them. We have blacklisted many companies or revoked their license. Why? Because of safeguarding the health of our people. Comprehensive legal framework, I've mentioned that the National Assembly is looking at amendments, and then the 10th Assembly, I believe, we put it into use. We now have what is also called technology. Part of our journey is digitalization. For a regulatory agency to attain maturity level 3, you must show that you are transparent, because transparency reduces corruption. It also makes processes effective. So we now have Green Book. If you type Green Book, you will see it on our website, greenbook.nafdac.gov.ng. So if you type company manufacturer X, it will show you all the products that manufacturer X have. That way, it is easier for people to know what NAFDAC approved, what NAFDAC didn't approve. And this is a journey, it's a work in progress, but we have almost finished the drugs, and then we go to vaccines and so on. Grassroots sensitization. We have to, because about 50% of Nigerians are illiterate. And if you are an illiterate, it is difficult to understand. So we have to go to nooks and corners to sensitize people. Local and international collaborations. In the regulatory world, we call it reliance. It is through reliance you get more training, you got more exposed, you get funding sometimes, and that has strengthened us a lot. NAFDAC is collaborating with Interpol, because this business is a business that takes undercover, overcover, or whatever cover, because of the unscrupulous merchants that we have. We also have, again, technology, what is called Med Safety App. Some of you might have seen it during the pandemic. You use medicine that may be substandard, may not be substandard. All medicines have side effects. It just depends on whether you follow the instructions or not. But even if you follow the instructions very well, you may have some side effects. Now we have Med Safety App. You can download it on your app, on the telephone, and report what was the side effect. That helps us to know whether this is due to regular side effects, expected side effects, or it is because of substandard falsified medicine or illicit medicine that was sold. And we have a lot of regulatory policies that we have put in place. 5+5. What is 5+5? The medicines that are being imported into the country, the top 5 medicines, we found out in 2018, are also the top 5 medicines that are manufactured locally. So we said that once we renew you as an importer, that will be your last renewal. You have to show us within the 5 years how you are going to migrate to local manufacturing. We've got to strengthen our industry, but more so because we need to make our own medicine so that we will have drug security. COVID-19 pandemic taught us a big lesson, that we are dependent, we are addicted to importation. Now we have many companies now migrating or partnering with companies in Nigeria. That will reduce unemployment. It will increase our GDP. So it's going to be a win-win for all of us. Role of communication. I'm going to end up here because that is the theme. Communication involves information exchange, and it has been extremely critical in our fight against illicit trade, both within and outside Nigeria. Effective communication is part of the bedrock of the foundation of our success in Nigeria, in NAFDAC. We are not there yet, please. Effective communication has made NAFDAC more efficient in the way we carry out our operations. Our communication tools doubled as productivity tools as they help us share information timely. We have NAFDAC and Your Health on NTA, on TVC every week. We have NAFDAC and Your Health on FRCN every week. We work with health journalists to disseminate or to underscore, to reinforce some important messages. This has helped us a lot. All these have helped us a lot. And we are not, again, we are not there yet because you cannot stop. Human beings forget easily. You have to reinforce it. Even God, in his Holy Bible, will keep, through prophets, we say everything. We repeat as if people are deaf. But many of us are deaf. Until you keep telling us, then it starts sinking in. We have digital communication teams that plans, develops, implements, and manages strategies. And we also have feedback system with reforms. They are doing wonderfully well in getting customer feedback, whether we are doing well or we are not doing so well, and how we can improve. With our communication strategy, we have been informative by providing correct and unbiased information on substandard falsified medicines. We have also been persuasive with our messages in our grassroots sensitization campaigns to get people to do the right things through attitudinal change, through washing of the brain, like stopping patronage of drug hawkers, shunning the lure to indulge in illicit trade in substandard falsified medicines. In conclusion, illicit sales and distribution of substandard falsified medicines are a global threat. It portends grave financial losses, possible divestment, and close of shops for many pharmaceutical companies, and threatens the attainment of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which strive for access to safe, effective, quality medicines. Our experiences in tackling substandard falsified medicines have shown that no single agency or country can go on in this battle alone. The approach must be multifaceted. That's why we have NDLEA here. This therefore calls for concerted efforts and collaboration. Effective communication is helping NAFDAC to build trust with our stakeholders. It has further helped in clarifying and providing regulatory direction in the fight against illicit pharmaceuticals. Like I mentioned, we are reducing prevalence of substandard falsified medicines by day because we are committed. It is a fight. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon because the unscrupulous merchants will continue to get one step ahead of you. We now have a huge array of local manufacturers who are building brand new pharma manufacturing plants and retrofitting old facilities to meet global standards. In addition, we now have some of our local manufacturers having contract arrangements with established multinationals. I once more congratulate Neccipr for the successful hosting of this program and express my desire for such result-oriented programs to continue to be hosted for the foreseeable future. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, amazing audience, for giving her a deserving round of applause and a standing ovation. When she was speaking, Mrs. Uko and Mrs. Oke, who were sitting near me, I think alongside Moji, I heard a lot of, And, I found this conversation so relatable, so valuable. There were a couple of pieces. I took quite a couple of notes, and I'm going to bring it all together. But, I just never thought those hawkers harmless. Did you think them harmless? No? Or maybe I never thought deeper about those hawkers. And then when she talked about the translation of the temperature, and then when they give the child, that, oh my goodness, you know, I joined Mrs. Uko and Ms. Oke with the, I almost did God forbid. That's a full-time Nigerian thing. But thank you so much, Professor Day. You agree with me, she's the best person for the job. A big round of applause. And just to bring together all that she has said, she's, you know, reiterated that fighting the scourge of illicit trade in the pharma industry is a tough job, and it's a job also that we each have a role. She talked about there being a lack of systems and structures, you know, talking about what they have done or she has done, the governance she's brought into play to be able to establish quality control. You know, and also the work that had been done around the labs, and then what she's doing with education, and I think most importantly, the need for supporting laws. You know, when she talked about the little slap, I just thought, but that can be a deterrent. If somebody can actually go to the ATM and get the fine and give you, then I'll just go right next again to the bus stop. And, you know, I think that we shouldn't isolate ourselves from these issues, because there are issues that come back to bite us. You know, I sit in, you know, lots of meetings where we are, you know, talking internationally, and we're not just talking about Nigeria, we're talking about other countries, and it always hurts my heart, you know. At some point, I had to stop getting emotional. When you bring the stats for fake drugs, guess whose name is close on the chart? It's us. When you bring the stats for another negative thing, you know it's us. And I used to be so unhappy, but I think that with conversations like this, I believe that when there is awareness, then each one of us would know what action to take. Can we please very lastly give a round of applause to our very deserving keynote speaker? Great. So as we were talking, the hall has gotten fuller, and you have been an amazing audience. Thank you. We shouldn't be for too much longer. We've got about 3 things left, and I'll give you back your day. We've got the panel session coming through. We've got the Hall of Fame Awards, and then we've got lunch. Can I encourage you also to network? When you come to these events, networking should be one of the highlights. And I remember a mentee of mine had come to meet me, and she said, you know, Auntie Nkiru, I really had a great time at that event. I'm like, oh, really? What happened? She's like, you know, I met so-so and so, and then I took a picture. So I said, and after the picture, what happened? She said, I don't know. So today, don't just take pictures. Let more things happen beyond the pictures. Know the person's name, know what the person is about and what the person does. And whilst our keynote speaker was speaking, we had so many people coming, and I'd like to recognize them super quickly. I'd like to recognize Professor Ralph Akinfele. Excellent. I'm happy that my Yoruba has a higher point than Mrs. Aliwalugun's. I'd like to recognize Mr. John Ehigese, who's representing the chairman of NIPR. I had said to you that we had tons of industry seniors who are here. I'd also like to recognize the chairperson or president of PRCAN, Mr. Jai Okpaemi. Hello, Jai. Very nice to see you. We also have the representative of the Lagos Nigerian Army PR Association. Welcome, sir. If you're here, can you just stand up for a quick wave? I know that I saw Dr. Ifeanyi Kwesi as she did come in. Can we please celebrate her? As we run quite quickly, you know, I talked about the many industry seniors. Mrs. Uko is here. We saw Mrs. Bumi Oke as well. Can we celebrate them, please? Excellent. And if I haven't called you, I'm coming right into it. You are not any less important. I promise you that. But we're going to go into the panel. And the beauty of a panel is the diversity of the views. You know what they say? They say, if you've never gone out, never left your house, then you think your father's sitting room is the finest, correct? But when you go out and you'll be like, oh my goodness, this is a mansion. Oh my goodness, this is this. So that's the beauty of a panel. It gives you different perspectives. We have got I'm getting an echo. Media, can you support me on that? Thank you. We have got seasoned persons who will be having these conversations or leading the panel conversations. And because I'm moderating, I'm committing that it would be valuable, it will be swift, and I'm also imploring you in advance to keep the questions ready and coming. On our panel today is the Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of the NDLEA in the person of retired Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa. Can we please give him a round of applause? I believe that he has a representative here in the person of Dr. Segun Oke. May you please come up the stage, sir? Very quickly, we're looking forward to receiving you. And we also have got a Professor of Pharmaceutics and Pharmaceutical Technology, Professor Mbangfemi Oyewo, MFR. Can you please give him a round of applause? Any copper that is on their phone will be, yes, will be penalized. So coppers, you are my support group, I told you today. You and Pan-African Universities, please sit randomly. Yes, happy for you to sit. Thank you so much. Thank you, welcome. Right on the heels, we have the acting CG of Nigerian Customs Service, Mr. Adewale Adeniyi, MNI. Can we please give him a round of applause? Keep the applause coming for me. You have been an amazing, amazing audience. I am so grateful for you. We also have the founder, MD of Biofem Group, pharmacist Femi Shoremekun. Can we please give him a round of applause? Pharmacist Femi Shoremekun, fantastic. And the last, yes, I understand I'm taking Yoruba lessons today, I'm coming through. And the last, and by no means the least, I'd like to invite the Chief Operating Officer for SOCOMS, Mojisola Saka. Can we please give Moji a round of applause? Excellent, 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 excellent. Yes, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome our panelists
to a
order. Mbangfemi Oyewo, MFR, Professor of Pharmaceutics and Pharmaceutical Technology, Speaker. Femi Shoremekun, Founder, MD, Biofem Group, Speaker. Brigadier General Buba Marwa, Retired, Chairman, NDLEA, Speaker. Wale Adeniyi, Acting Controller General, Nigeria Customs Service, Speaker. Mojisola Saka, Chief Operating Officer, SOCOMS, Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our panelists.
To manage the feedback. Thank you, media. And I just wanted to tell you, my distinguished panelists, how this would work. I'm going to allow you about 1 to 2 minutes to give your view on the subject. And then I'm then going to ask you questions out of order. Has everyone got a mic, please? Come upstairs, come up stage, please. Has everyone got a mic? It would be valuable that everyone has a mic. Yes, please, just give someone a mic. Quick, 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 we need to move. Yes, you go, ma'am. Yes, please. Has everyone got a mic so we're not swapping? Everyone has a, okay, there are mics here. Thank you, sir. Thank you for helping me. Okay, please turn it on, Thank you. Excellent. Turn it on. Okay. And in no particular order, I'm going to go to Dr. Segun Oke. And just leaning into what our rules are, you're going to, in 2 minutes, give your view on the subject. Yes, sir.
Again, all protocols observed. I'd like to, on behalf of the NDLEA chairman, welcome all of us to this program. I must begin by saying that NAFDAC and NDLEA are like two sides of a coin. So I will almost have repeated what the professor have said. Just to make a distinction, that NDLEA probably have more enforcement physiognomy than NAFDAC. NAFDAC is more professional in terms of its staffing when it comes to quality control for drugs, while the NDLEA is into trafficking and is to counter trafficking. And that's why I say the NDLEA perhaps has more enforcement face. So I adopt completely what the professor have said. The only thing I want to add is more of a joke. The DG is an Edtion woman. And fantastically, she's done a lot of prudency in NAFDAC. That, as it may, I must say here that the role of communication in countering this problem is very vital. And the NDLEA is doing a great in that regard. First, all our activities in terms of arrest and seizures, in terms of destruction of exhibit, in terms of confiscation, forfeiture of assets to the traffickers and the criminals are regularly put on the media space. The importance of this is to deter such activities. A lot is going down the drain for traffickers. I'm sure you see regularly when the NDLEA goes into destruction of these drugs. And when we talk about the value of what has been destroyed, we confiscate, we seize their assets. The NDLEA is using technology. We're on YouTube, we're on X, what we used to call Twitter, I think. Yeah, so every Friday, if you join the NDLEA, you hear a whole lot of things that we're doing. And the NDLEA also has a program called War Against Drug Abuse, WADA. Through WADA, we reach out to stakeholders, other law enforcement, the churches, the mosque, the market women, schools. We have drug-free clubs in virtually all the Nigerian universities. The importance of this is to make valuable information available to everybody. If you permit me, I think I want to stop here. Yes, and thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for those valuable comments. Just talking about the synergy between the implementation and the ideation, or the policies or the regulations, as Prof had talked about. Ma'am, we're going right next to you, and would like for you to tell us your name again, and please also just give your 2 minutes view on the topic. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon. Still standing on existing protocol. My name is Professor Mbang Young Femi Oyewo, MFR, a true Nigerian from Cross River, married across the river to the west, and a member of the Federal Republic. Yeah, I'm a Nigerian, so I am one of them. That was on a lighter note. Seriously, the illicit trade, it's a very serious one. And the DG NAFDAC has said almost everything she could within the time frame she had. What is happening on the field, you can say it doesn't concern me, but it concerns everyone. You don't know who is next. You know, shockingly, the drugs that are, what will I say, the substandard one are drugs of very serious illnesses.
how can somebody, let's talk about cancer. Cancer is one of it. And they are, bringing in falsified, substandard for a cancer patient. And it did happen once, if you could all remember. We have this Kano Health is a clinic for children. And one of the drugs they used that time was a fake adulterated drug. I mean, how could somebody do that? It's the height of wickedness. What we're saying is that we have seen the role of industrial pharmacies. We have seen the role of law enforcement agencies. We have seen the role of government, which is to promote local manufacturing. Because when we have these local drugs on the scene, we don't need to be importing drugs. We should be self-sufficient. And as the DG Navdak said, we saw that problem when we had COVID, when they closed the doors to Nigeria, and we couldn't even access APIs, that's active pharmaceutical ingredients that are needed for even other diseases. India closed its door, everyone closed its door. And we saw the reason why. We have been clamoring for having a petrochemical industries to have all these APIs. But I believe now the government will be serious about this. So we've looked at so many roles of government, roles of law enforcement agencies, like my neighbor here, role of even the industrial pharmacies, and they haven't done much. I think the most effective and the most powerful role will be the role of communication. That is it, where we can change the mindsets of Nigerians. And I believe communication, how do we have this communication? We go creating awareness and empowerment. Awareness through education. We have to start talking about drugs and the illicit trade and drugs and sports or drug in sports. We have to start from the secondary school. It should be in the curriculum. It should be in the curriculum of the university as general studies course. It should be there. Every Nigerian must be taught. And when we live there, we now go to the marketplace, the public health approach to ensure that all Nigerians, no matter your level of education, you must understand that you don't just buy drugs anyhow. You don't just buy drugs being hawked in the market. You don't just say, you sit down and you say, La.B-J. You have all this, 7 drugs, terrible drugs, potent drugs, put together. None of them not being used properly. And that's why we have so many kidney problems, especially of the young ones, because they just take these shots along with alcohol. So the communication, the role of communication, that's going to be the most effective. Because when we change the mindset and attitudes of Nigerians, and everybody, it's not only the low class, it's not even the high class. You see them, they just take these shots, they come in, measure to them, and they buy and they drink once a day. And it's killing them gradually. So we have to stop all this. The lives of Nigerians are good citizens. It's a great nation. And we need to protect the lives of Nigerians, irrespective of your class. And we'll start with communication, education, awareness in the marketplace, training, teaching, and also so that we start becoming aware of this thing, right from the secondary school, even right from the primary school. Let's develop that. Once we can safeguard that, then we know we are coming out with a generation that is aware, a generation that knows its mind, a generation that knows the right thing to do, a generation that would not use drugs illegally and anyhow. Drugs can be very, very good, and at the same time, they can be very, very potent. Almost all drugs are toxic. It depends on how you use them and what you use them for. Correct. So we are in the education sector, and we know what we're going through. And we know we are, close to the youth, and we know the effects of tramadol, and it's still on. is the most, all this drug, abuse of drugs.
Right.
We know what is happening. Communication is the thing. If we can get this right, then everything will work.
Right.
It should be easy for NAFDAC.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Professor Femi Oyewo. Those were very valuable contributions, leaning into communication and communication across the value chain, from the youth target audience to everyone. Thank you for those valuable contributions. I beg your pardon, I should have done something earlier, and I believe that it was the mention of X that had me. I'm remembering that I did not share the hashtag for the day. Can we please, if we're tweeting or posting on Instagram, can we use Neccipr 2023? You can leave out the 20, Neccipr 23 as the hashtag. So the nuggets that you have heard from the keynote speaker all the way to the panel, you can post ad-libs of those, you can post your photos using that hashtag. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes. I know that you feel like you know the question, right? I'm changing it. Yes, I'm changing it so that the exam is harder. Okay. But I think that is also something that you know, and it's something that came off the conversation that I had with Mrs. Uko this morning. So I've never believed that the term illicit is just for the production of the drug. I believe that is also for the use. And she made a comment to say, and I'm obviously directing this to you as a pharmacist. Someone is a pharmacist, he's minding a pharmacy, and he finds that a certain amount of drug is just running off the shelf. What should he do? What should be his role? What action should he be taking as a pharmacist?
Well, that's a very interesting question you're asking me because, first of all, my name is Femi Shoremeku. I'm the founder of Biofem Group. I also the chairman of a trade group in the industry called Neccipr. Basically, what I would first say is this. Madam DG is our regulator. So all she has said is what we hear, we know of, and honestly, she's the best communicator for us in the industry.
Round of applause, round of applause. Thank you. Yes.
Also, the interesting thing also is that I'm here today because I've also had the experience of counterfeiters. Right. And what is this experience? A product that we import, that we market and we distribute was counterfeited. And the way we got to know was quite interesting. This was some years ago. And to be honest with you, communication is very essential, very important to help us in this so-called problem, this scourge. To quickly dash to that question you just asked about something flying off the shelf. Yes. Part of the thing I wanted to share with us today was to say that we all as Nigerians should also always be careful, and at this time also be more careful that when we go into a pharmacy and probably we have a prescription or we don't, and we say we want to buy something, and when you are told the price, you start asking, do you have something cheaper? Now, automatically you have given the person at the counter, most of the time it might not be a pharmacist, it might be part of the store person, because the pharmacist will ask you some more questions. When you ask that question, and you say you want something cheaper, automatically they'll probably bring out some other drugs for you that are cheaper. Now, a counterfeiter is a businessman. The only thing that he doesn't have is a business card. Okay? So, he will price that product in different ways. If the product is a very expensive drug that is counterfeiting, it will make the price a bit slightly lower than the ones in the market that are original. If it's a cheap product, they will price it so low because, you know, a cheap product of 500 naira compared to 200 naira, 250 naira, you might just say, I'll buy the 500 naira. But if it's so low, 200, 150 naira, you just say, let me buy the 150 naira. I want to save money. Now, what happens most of the time is that most likely you could find a situation where that drug is counterfeited. But because you are looking for cheap, you buy it, you use it. If it doesn't work, you probably complain, oh, I bought that thing, it didn't work. And then you want to go back again and complain. Now, what am I drawing out here? Is the fact that we have to first understand that the way those guys do their business is to try to get into the system in a way that you would probably not take cognizance of that. Right. But what for me is key here is for us to understand that we need a lot of efforts from as many bodies as possible to be communicating to Nigerians. I want to throw a challenge at the press and say to the press that I think they should also be looking at doing CSR on this particular topic. And when I say CSR, means that they don't necessarily have to be looking for companies that want to do an advert for them to talk about counterfeit. They don't necessarily have to wait for NAFDAC to make an announcement before they pick it up. They don't have to wait for NDLEA to make an arrest before they blast it in the media. They should take it upon themselves to help Nigerians, because I recall when we were at a very, very early stage of this problem that Nigeria was trying to tackle it. The problem was that NAFDAC on its own, who were spearheading a lot of things because they were making arrests and counterfeit and seizing drugs, doesn't have the financial capability and capacity to communicate, to spend the money to communicate, I mean. Because you need to really blast a lot of information out there for Nigerians, even to the grassroots. Because the grassroots is where the major problem is. The chemist on the corner also wants to sell as cheap as possible in the community. He has already looked at the community and felt like this community, they cannot buy something of 1,000 naira. So when he goes to the market, he's looking for 500, 250. And that's where they come across the counterfeit as well. So by communicating, helping Nigerians to blast that information in as many places, in many ways as possible, would help the person in the village to ask more questions. Or to, ask more questions, because when you're suspicious about what is being sold to you, will make you ask that question. So let me just stop there, because really, if I start and give so many experiences we've had, I mean, based on the experience we've had, we had to go all over Nigeria, in as many places as possible, in our own little way that we could afford to communicate to as many people about that drug that was counterfeited at that time. And it's a drug that, if you take a fake one, is for diabetes. And you will know the incidence of diabetes in Nigeria is increasing. So you can imagine not having the proper drug to use. That basically you want to kill Nigerians. And they would have made their money, taken the money, and put some other people in trouble. So let me stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is so sobering to hear, and I think that there are just lots of things in the bucket that needs to be unpacked. But I mean, it ties also into what our keynote speaker said when she was saying that poverty was also a malaise that was driving the purchase of illicit drug. And Pharmacist Femi said to us that if you walk in and immediately say, what is the cheaper drug to buy, you have empowered them to be able to sell this to you. Again, it boils back into communication, which Professor Femi Oyewa had also talked about. Communication, 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 and more communication. So I'm going to go straight to Moji. Moji is as though everyone rolled it up and rolled it up and rolled it up to you. So I think if you had to give us a back of the envelope plan and for how to get this big message, out there to the target audience, what would it be? I'm going to encourage you to cast your mind back from the keynote speaker all the way to just everyone that has had something to say about this today. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. So interestingly, everyone had taken up my rule in suggesting communication as the route to trying to, curb the scourge of illicit drug trade. But I, from a comms point of view, and my senior colleagues and others can agree with me, that you do not just communicate for the sake of communicating. You have to communicate to engage. And we also need to sometimes steal with pride and flip it to your own advantage when you're doing these things. So we see that the counterfeiters, all of these persons in this value chain of illicit trade have, without a doubt, capitalized on the social handicap of their audiences. They've capitalized on the poverty levels, poor level of education, and so many other factors, literally taking advantage of how life and Nigeria in this context is happening to them. And as a communications person, I would therefore look at it from that lens to say, if this guy was reaching this person, capitalizing or exploiting these inadequacies for his advantage, therefore it is for sure the glue to engaging this affected audience. And as comms persons, we would then be able to build narratives around that, to addressing and calling out the values that herein benefit the people. So we look at poverty, we look at social engagements, we look at even the downward slope of our sense of value, our cultural values, our norms, moral currency, all of it seems to have depleted. So if we begin to dial up the consciousness of these factors, it would cause a change without a doubt. First, it begins from, let's not think about how Nigeria is happening to you, but how you can happen for Nigeria. Let's not think about, because this problem is abound.
Quotes, please. Can you give her a round of applause? Yes, please, guys.
So in happening for Nigeria is standing for what is right. I grew up in a neighborhood where my neighbor could scold me if I was going off the line. And my mother could leave me with my aunt at 4 months old because she needed to work. There's just so much we can do through communication, encouraging again that communal sense of responsibility and belonging, that sense of responsibility as parents, as caregivers, within the ecosystem. But importantly, being able to engage the audience in platforms that connect with them. I mean, I commend the DG, and I kept going, oh, ha. So I'm a comms person. I do run into some of the programs that the NAFDAC runs, and you've put huge sums of money that you have smartly gathered, to support the operations of NAFDAC. But I dare say that the core of the audience that need to really know these things, particularly those to the right hand of this hall, aren't watching or listening to FRCN, they aren't watching NTA. So we need to adopt platforms that do connect with them. I was saying to Mrs. Oke that we have Instagram drug manufacturers. Yes. So they just pop at you and they target you because it's a very liberalized space. Once they have the targeted ad and they can tell that Moji likes to look for something that will probably make her want to lose some weight. And then they throw all sorts of things. I wouldn't even mention a particular one that I've seen in the space of the estheticians. And I had to curiously go check, what is this about? And I read the contraindication, I'm like, so people are still going to get injections for these things and they're not scared for themselves. But we need you to please engage these people on platforms that connect. And also use advocates that they do idolize. We're a very aspirational people. Today, if one Nollywood actor or a pop star pops through that door, They would leave me and you and even my dear senator here and go wait for selfie time. But the point is, we need to be able to speak to people in the language, in the tonality that they can understand. First off, that they can receive. And then begin to consider to want to understand. And then begin to consider adopting. Otherwise, all of the efforts we're trying to put in place would be ineffective. And therefore, communication really doesn't happen. And I dare say my colleagues are here. For example, I can say, with the permission of my president, that the PR can will be inclined to providing some advisory support to NAFDAC in all of this. And it's not just NAFDAC, you know, the NDLEA, we see them on Instagram when we hear they storm a place and like, okay, these guys, what are they doing? But the point is, we need to be able to engage the audience in the manner and tonality they understand. And driving up the values, because a society becomes nothing when the moral value system is shredded and torn apart. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikki. Thank you. And those were really powerful contributions. When you live outside the country, what we're constantly doing, you know, when we gather for anything, we're discussing Nigeria. In our WhatsApp group, we're discussing Nigeria. There's always, you know, people that are outside the country think they have all the solutions. Respectfully, they have some, but not all. And I remember speaking in that group, and I was saying, actually, the real challenge is what you say, is the values, an erosion of values. We're always quick to talk about, as a nation, our numbers, our size, but if we support that with values, imagine how much positive reverberation there will be. If you come into Botswana, you would see, they will say, welcome to Botswana, if anyone has been. These are our values. Respect for one another, blah, 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 blah. It guides you in the way that you behave. It guides you in the way that you operate and guides you in the way that you communicate. So thank you, really valid points. Can we give her a round of applause? So we don't want to be talking to ourselves alone. We'd like you to be part of the conversation. Can we please just take two questions, one from this side, one from that side. Professor Kifele has his hands up. I was going to say, my dear, can you give him the microphone? I was going to say, can he introduce himself? But we know him, but he can also introduce himself. Yes, sir. He's here, right in front. Thank you. We have someone at the back. Yeah, I see you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ralph Akinfeleye. I am a professor of journalism and mass communication, former chair and head, Department of Mass Comm, University of Lagos. Yes. I first of all want to thank the organizers, in particular Nkechi, who is my doctoral student, hoping to get her PhD in the next few weeks. Congratulations. We're talking about communication, my dear sister, and I'd like to thank the keynote speaker. My own intervention is just an advice, and just to understand that information is power. Yeah. But communication is the empowerment. Yes. And if you want to...
Tweetable quotes, my guys at the back.
Yeah. Information is power, and communication is the empowerment. Yeah. And if you want to empower NDLI or NAFDAC, we must base it on the principles of what you want to achieve, i.e., you want to do behavioral change, BCC, behavioral change communication. It then means you must know what you want to communicate, how you want to communicate it, and the pattern of communication, so that you not be charged with information underload or information overload. Therefore, for NDLA and NAFDAC, we want to change our behavior, knowing fully that behavioral change is very difficult to sell, because change stinks like fertilizer. But when you put fertilizer into the soil and you put potato there, what happens? It germinates. And at the end of the day, it brings out what? Sweet potato. Therefore, my advice to your communication aspect, my dear sister, is for your NAFDAC and NDL to engage in the pattern of communication. And also note that you can have horizontal pattern of communication, vertical pattern of communication, but our preferred type of communication for behavioral change is what I tell my students, is what I call horizontal pattern of communication. Horizontal pattern of communication. This is to say, a little bit of vertical, because I want to change my dear brother's behavior, and vertical. You have to engage in horizontal pattern of communication to try as much as possible not to hoard information. And on the behalf, and you know NAFDAC, and you are doing dangerous things. NAFDAC and NAFDAC is a high-risk profession. And therefore, the communication must be in such a way that it has reciprocity of cordiality. Because you want to expose drug addict or drug peddlers, but they want to cover up. And the journalists or the communicators trying to uncover. I'm trying to conceal something, and you have to cover up. We cannot be friends. So it's a high-risk profession, and I think both NAFDAC and NDL should please intensify the process of using horizontal pattern of communication for behavioral change. I thank you very much for kind attention.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Okay, she went straight to the second. Okay, we have to take, I know that you had your hand second, but Dr. Ife is sitting next. Let her just say something really briefly, and then we'll go back and then just one on this side. Thanks, ma'am.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this opportunity. Let me first of all congratulate my very good friend, Nkechi Alibalogu, and of course, the patron of one of my organizations, Daisy Danjuma, a beautiful woman. My conversation is this. Mojisola, I want to thank you for your conversation. I'm aligning with you.
Thank
the
you.
drug abuse in the society is a reflection of our decadent society.
Yes.
The drug abuse in our society is a reflection of the low quality Christianity we preach and Muslim religions we preach. Many of us are spiritual, mental, and emotional babes. Now, what am I trying to say? The most of the abuse is coming from our dependency on unnecessary prescriptive drugs. I turned 70 this year. In my earlier year, I would have died if I continued my lifestyle. I had to do a turnaround in my lifestyle to have the energy of a much younger person. What am I saying? A man comes to the doctor for high blood pressure. We give him medication. We know that those medications do have side effects. Listen to me. I'm not saying medications are not necessary. Sometimes you need them, but we are relying too much on them. Simple clapping exercise, simple counseling, if the man is having a toxic relationship and marriage, can get his blood pressure down. So what am I saying? NAFDAC. Madam, I'm happy I have your number. We need to talk. This society needs to be thought about. Values. We are too much into money. Get rich quick. The churches give you a front seat when you make money and give to them. Nobody cares about the quality of the money. Our leadership has a problem. So, Sister Daisy, I hope you're listening to me. We need to start modifying our educational curriculum so we can teach children character, values, so that as they grow up, they will not do drug abuse. They will look for good ways to make money. That's my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please, ma'am. Please give.
In fact, this is one of the points I intended to raise. What we have in our society now, we don't know what they call disgrace or shame. In those days, you do something, they will say, you've disgraced the family. Our values have dropped that we are shameless. We don't know what they call disgrace. Another point is that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. If this drug abuse, if they are checked, you know, the time you spend in hospital, you're losing hours of work. Time is of essence. I'll just put a bit to that, and by the time I end my final talk, I'll raise the others. But we need to change our values, because we are living almost in a morally bankrupt society. You know, like there are many goods NAFDAC has banned, we still find them in the market. People go to buy them, like what they call Ajinomoto, monosodium glutamate, which is a killer. You people still go and buy frozen chicken that have been embalmed, coming from other countries. And Nigerians have a habit. Oh, you look very fresh. What medicine do you take? They want to take it. I have a friend who came to me. I was taking my normal multivitamin on, so she said, I better give me small. You know, Nigerians, illiteracy is very, it's a disease. You know, you don't have to be, some people are educated, but I call education broad-based. Many people go to the world, go to school just to learn 1 + 1, 2. But they are not educated. They are educated illiterate. Education is broad. Learn and learn properly. Communication, like you said, is key to everything. Advocacy. You know, you have to sensitize the public properly, teach them right. You know, like I was telling the DG NAFDAC, there's a drug for diabetes called Ozempic. So it's so crazy. Everybody wants to take Ozempic because they want to lose weight. What is for diabetes? In future, you know, you kill yourself. A lot of people have kidney problems today because they take ibuprofen on empty stomach. They have just more headache. Like someone said just now that you just need maybe a glass of water to make your headache disappear. But you go the length to take ibuprofen that will kill you tomorrow. Kidney failure is so high in Nigeria. I don't want to take the time. Other people will talk. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. The conversations are so valuable. You know, the comments about values, that we no longer know what shame is. And oftentimes on social media, and I don't know if Senator is on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram all the time. So I almost faint where they're saying, do you, it's your life, it doesn't matter. It's all part of the, you know, the derailed values. So thank you so much, Ma, for that contribution. The guy at the back, he's had his hands up. He was the second. I was also being respectful of our seniors. Please, can you give him that? And then we will take 2 more questions, 2 final questions. We've got 3 things to do, and you've been an amazing audience. I don't want to stretch you any further. So here, we'll take one here from Mazio.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mr. Lawal Wasiu Lekon. I'm the MD of LWA Concept. And LWA Concept, we are about freight forwarding, clearing and forwarding. So, first of all, I would like to commend NAFDAC, because be a representative at the port, NAFDAC is always all about documentation. Where is your CRIA, clean report of inspection analysis? Where is your certificate of analysis? We have to submit those documents before we can clear any medical consignment at the port. And also, I want to commend the NDLA. They are always present at the examination ground to scrutinize every consignment coming in. But I want to make an awareness. You know, Nigeria, we are 133 million living in diverse poverty. And also, we are aware about the increase of our FX by 348. I'm coming in at the business aspect, please. 348 earlier this year, and now is 800 in the market. So everybody knows that the price of these pharmaceutical products will have skyrocketed, and also, so what I'm saying is, you know, I feel governments are supposed to subsidize the pharmaceutical industry hugely, as in even bring about state of emergency, because 103 million living in abject poverty or multi-dimensional poverty. Let's leave Lagos. Let's go to Ibadan. Let's go to far north. So majority of the populace can't afford this product. So, and again, I want to commend my professor, I don't know her name, on Red, by sensitizing, going to the educational background, you know, putting the words out there. I think that will go a long way. And also, my madam too say something about Instagram, you know, social media. Social media is one platform that they need to take advantage of. They need to take advantage of. And also, please, let's have the pharmaceutical industry highly subsidized, because the price of these products out there is at skyrocketed, and a lot of households might not be able to pay for this product. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Can we give him a round of applause? So we only have room for 2, and actually a third one came on to me on stage. So we only have comments for 2 questions, and then we'll take the one on stage. I see your hand, but we are pressured. Can we take the lady in blue behind? Can you please tell us your name? And please, if it's a comment, say it's a comment, go straight to the point. If it's a question, ask the questions. There are 4 panelists who can respond.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tolu Lokpe Olorundero. I'm a public relations consultant.
Hi, Tolu.
Hi. So I wanted to ask 2 questions. One is the use of social media for the to amplify the message about drug abuse and illicit drugs generally. So recently, for those who are active on Instagram and all the social media platforms, really, there's this guy who is essentially going after skincare businesses.
Yes.
I don't want to give him free.
Why? Very dark man.
Yeah.
Yes,
oh, okay. So yes, very dark man. Right? And so for people like that, first of all, the initial comment from his activities was that it's essentially a failure on the part of NAFDAC, that an individual had to be the one raising such concerns, because I mean, people have complained about this either in terms of the effect of using those people, and nothing really ever happened until somebody took it on his head, essentially, and started talking about it. What's NAFDAC doing in terms of using social media platforms and perhaps even collaborating with individuals who have the platform or even are passionate about these things? We want to assume that maybe there are not enough young people in NAFDAC to be able to leverage those platforms. So that's the first question. How is NAFDAC using social media platforms to reach the youths beyond the traditional means that we are using? The second is really on the cost of imported drugs that we are having. Like the gentleman said, these things are really expensive. How are we encouraging local manufacturing for these drugs and exploring local alternatives? I mean, even in my home, now my husband will tell me, oh, this drug that we used to use, I read something on Instagram. If you add ginger and turmeric and XYZ, you will get the same result as if you use this drug. So let's go and buy those things in the market and store it at home. How are we also including this in communication to the public? What are the alternatives to these general drugs that we have to buy very expensively? Do we have local alternatives? And what's NAFDAC doing to communicate that to the general public? Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Tolu Lokpe. It's just like you to ask hard questions, isn't it? But very quickly, I'm going to let the 2 questions. NAFDAC isn't here, but I'm just going to ask for 2 different perspectives. One would be from Professor Mbang, and then the second will be for pharmacist Femi. And if you want me to paraphrase the questions, I'm happy to. She had asked about alternatives. What can be done for alternatives, since some of the drugs are considered high-end? Then she had also asked about advocacy and channels, still around communication. You know, what else? What else should we be doing? Yes. So,
thank you very much. I think the last time I spoke, I didn't tell you where I work. I am retired, but not tired.
Yes, we love that. Round of applause, round of applause.
I actually right now, I'm the provost of the College of Pharmacy of Babalola University, Abuad,
Right.
#1 university in Nigeria for the past 2 years.
Prof, you're looking for people's trouble.
Okay. No, according to the Times Higher Education
Okay, yes.
Impact
Thank you, ma'am.
ranking.
Oh, got
Number
it.
1 in Nigeria and number 221 in the world. And
Got
we're
it.
working on that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Communication, I said, is a key. There is a course we teach the students, social and administrative pharmacy, and we give them role plays. They act, they come up with a theme, and they even try to mimic African magic, introducing themselves as stars. Beautiful. It sings. We have to use the social media handles to reach the youth. And I want to thank Kechi Alibalogun for inviting me here. She commandeered me to be here. It took me 12 hours yesterday to come from Lagos to Adwekiti to Lagos on the road. But I said I would do anything for Kechi. So that's why I'm here. So I want to plead I want to plead with the association, public relations, I think.
Yes.
Yes, you can now handle communication. You may form whatever. You may go through the social, what will I say, social media handles. You may have role plays, you know, like she said, I'm trying to remember her name. Mojisola, yes. Like Mojisola said, bring in people they love in entertainment. Let them
influencers,
whatever,
yes.
that everyone will listen, and it sings more, you know, to the youth than just teaching and teaching. The teaching wouldn't have to be the normal teaching. It will have to be with role plays, with them doing it, and them coming up with innovations. Alternatives. Yes, there are alternatives. We believe in natural products. We have a lot of plants in every area in the world. God has been so wonderful.
Right.
The diseases in that area,
Right.
indeed you will find the solution in the herbs and the plants in that place.
Right.
That is God.
Thank
You
you.
know, look inwards. Go. I mean, we're in the age of technology.
Right.
Google. Look
Right.
at the plants around you. They have medicinal values.
Right.
Go. Google. Take a picture. Check.
Right.
It will tell you what is useful.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much,
I
ma'am.
want to, so that we don't have to be on drugs. You know, like, you know, if you say you're on arthritis, you have arthritis, you have are you going to be on drugs forever? Start using the herbs. There are alternatives.
Right.
Lifestyle changes.
Right.
Exercise.
Wellness.
Lifestyle changes. Be happy.
Right.
You know, don't keep things in your mind. It doesn't solve anything. Just be happy.
Thank
Lifestyle
you.
changes. And
Thank
we will get
you.
there. Our values, yes, parents especially.
Yes.
It's like the
Yes.
community value has gone.
Yes.
You cannot, you know, in the community in those days, a child belongs to the community.
Yes.
You dare not do something bad.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you do something bad and they beat you up there, that uncle or can take
Will
you to
give
your
you
mom
extra.
or your dad, and they will beat you.
Extra.
You know, but that's not what we have
Yes.
with our young parents of nowadays.
Yes.
A teacher can beat or do something to a child, and the parents will go there and fight.
Yes. Yes.
The Lord will help us.
Amen.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much, Mark. Can we give her a round of applause? Pharmacist Femi, I'm going to ask Tolu to come right up to you. We have to have a hard stop, regrettably. And therefore, I'm going to ask Tolu to come right up to you, and then you can provide responses directly to her. We had 2 last questions, and I did explain to you who Mazio Keke is to us. We have to take his comments as the very last one, and we're going on to our Hall of Fame, and the last comments from the chairman of the occasion. Sir, can we have your last comments, please? Thank you. Round of applause for Mazio Keke. Yes, please.
My name is Mike Okereke.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Thank you, sir.
My advice to the Drug Enforcement Agency is that we are having problems in demarketing Nigeria. The style they use, they want to show that they are effective and delivering on their mandate. But the counter effect is that Nigeria is now seen globally, and we have the reputation of being the #1 drug company in the world. So it is important that you use professionals to package what we are doing. You are doing an excellent job. But I am a bit worried about the style. Your chairman is a very effective worker.
Yes.
There has been a lot of changes since he took over.
Right.
But the quarrels, the militancy, and every time showing where drugs are being done, I think United States, for example, has more drug enforcement than any other country. But you don't find it in the papers every time that they are doing this or doing that or doing this. So I would recommend that you segment your target audience. For example, you know the people who use these drugs. Like you go to schools,
right?
You go to universities, you go to various traffickers, and then reach them and quietly sell your things, and if they are found guilty, jail them.
Right.
But not to have every day in the papers, Nigeria is this, about drugs, Nigeria is this, about drugs. The same thing with the pharmacy. It came to a point where Ghana had to ban any drugs
Look at that.
going from Nigeria to Ghana.
Look at that.
This is because of the image we are creating. So I know your job is a very difficult job, but you have got to realize that it has a double-edged sword.
Yes.
You, in trying to show that you are active, you are demarketing Nigeria. That's my advice.
Thank you so much, Mazio Kereke. Thank you. Very valuable comments. It says to us that the manner and the style, we must be careful so that one of the unintended consequences would not be hurting our already challenged image. Ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that they have been an amazing, amazing panel. As I ask them to arise, we will go down to take pictures with the chairman of the occasion and the founder of Neccipr. Can we please give our remarkable panel a big round of applause? Please keep the applause coming. Please keep the applause coming. And give some of that applause to yourself because you've been a great audience so far. Just to let you know that we have got just 3 more activities and we should be on our way. 1 more activity. We've got our Hall of Fame and our closing remark. Okay, 1 more activity and then we'll be right on our way. Thank you. DJ, can we have a nice song whilst we take the pictures, please? Yes, I'm the picture coordinator. And after the coordination, I joined the picture. I traveled all the way from South Africa. I have to be inside this picture. Yes, please. Yes, DJ, yes, please. Photographer, yes, please take the picture for us. NAB, can you go next to the chairman of the occasion? Yes, excellent, it's fine. I think we'll get in. Yes, we'll get in. Yes, fantastic. Okay, it's fine. So the two men flanked on the right and on the left. I'm going into the picture now. I'm just giving myself 1 minute. Yeah, okay. No, take one and then we'll do. Yes, thank you. Yes, I have to join. I traveled all the way to come for this picture. Prof, is it okay if I stood here? Thank you, ma. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, ma. We're grateful. I'm not sure where I left my phone. Yes, ma. Did I leave my? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've been an amazing. We're doing the Hall of Fame, and we'll take closing remarks from our chairperson. Please stay with us. There are people who have been with us over the years, people who have partnered with us, people who have supported us. Those are the last two activities that we have, and we are going straight into it. Can I please have NAB here? And just before I do that, I'd like to recognize, even though I'm trying to find him, the representative of the SSG to Lagos State, Mr. Abiodun Adeyemi, who is the Director of Cabinet Affairs. Is he still here? Thank you so much, sir. A true pleasure to see you. I'm not sure, I'd like to recognize the commandant of the Neccipr. Is our commandant here? Thank you so much. He also traveled in, for this event. We're going straight right into our awards, and can I ask the ushers to please be on standby with the awards as we go straight into them. NAB, we need you, and we need NAB, we need you here, please. Is she outside? I beg her. So we're giving this award in recognition of their support of PR communication in Nigeria, and even more specifically to Neccipr. When I call their names as they walk up to us, I'm going to ask that you give them a resounding round of applause. And before I say that, it's important to give a little speech. When I was usually, I'm respectful, but when they're making announcements, I'll just clap normally. And then I read a book called Love Does Not Win Elections. Who has ever read that book? It's by Aisha Osori. I like to read. So I read it properly. And after that, when they're calling anybody who has ever been in any form of politics, senator, rep, I'm clapping so hard because it's very tough for anyone, and even tougher as a female. Ladies and gentlemen, our first recognition goes to a former senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Daisy Danjuma. Can we please give a round of applause to her as she comes up? Ushers, can you please do us the justice? Bring the award. Please hand it over to Mrs. A, who is going to hand it over to her, and then we will do the pictures. Yes, please. Yes. Oh, Dr. Mrs. Marcus is supporting her. Thank you. Thank you for this support. Yes. Okay, so this is the middle point. Okay. Yes.
This is honoring Senator Daisy Danjuma in recognition of your unwavering support and pivotal role to the growth of public relations at the Neccipr Roundtable. You are hereby being inducted to the Neccipr Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you. Big round of applause. Keep the applause coming. Thank you so much.
I'm delighted to receive this award. Time is against us, so thank you and thank you.
Thank you. Round of applause, round of applause, round of applause. Round of applause. Thank you, ma'am. We are grateful for all of your support, not just today, but through the years. Congratulations. Yes, please. One more round of applause, please. Thank you so much. We would then we have two more award categories for individuals, and then we go to corporates. In support of her contributions to public relations on the continent, in the country, more specifically also to Neccipr, I would like to call forward the representative of Dr. Dere Awoshika. Can you please give her a round of applause? That is another amazing woman that we honor and celebrate. Thank you for your presence, sir.
Once again, we are honoring Dr. Ajori Shedere Awoshika, MFR MNI, in recognition of her unwavering support and pivotal role to the growth of PR and the Neccipr Roundtable. She's hereby being inducted to the Neccipr Hall of Fame today. Congratulations.
Thank you and congratulations, Dr. Awoshika. We celebrate and honor you. Very quickly, the last individual, actually two last individuals on the list. You know, I told you that I work outside the country, and when they start to badmouth Nigeria, there are a few people that I call their names. And one of these persons, once I call his name because I work in financial services, people are quieting a little because his budget he controls is the budget of many countries. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call on the representative of the President of the African Development Bank, a true ambassador of Nigeria and the continent, Dr. Adewumi Adeshino. Round of applause, round of applause, round of applause. Please keep it loud. Thank you. Thank you so much.
This is honoring Dr. Adewumi Adeshino, Great Public Relations Ambassador of Africa. He's hereby being inducted into the Neccipr Hall of Fame for all he has done in the PR industry and in sustaining Neccipr Roundtable.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adeshino, a true brand ambassador for the country, for the continent, and now for Neccipr. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. Now we go straight into, we have one last award for an individual. Again, a very great flag bearer for the continent, resident in Egypt. I believe that's where it is. I'd like to call on the representative for Dr. Benedict Orama. Dr. Ray Echebiri, can you please come forward? Dr. Ray Echebiri, are you here? Yes. Okay. Please come forward. Very nice to see you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you. We celebrate you. Now we move on to the corporates. There are corporates who have supported over the years, corporates who see the value that Neccipr is bringing, changing the conversations of the issues that affect Nigeria. Would like to recognize Stanbic IBTC PLC. Do we have a representative? Can we please keep the applause coming? Rita, it's so good to see you. Yes, the representative of Stanbic IBTC.
Please, I need you to give a round of applause to IBTC.
Corpus, Sean, Pan-Atlantic, my faithful supporters. Please clap. Thank you, thank you. This is it. Now I feel you. You've been amazing, fantastic.
I'll tell you why. For over 6 years, they have never failed in supporting us.
Fantastic brand.
Thank you so much. So this is in recognition to Stanbic IBTC for building bridges and shaping narratives. This is in recognition to all you do for PR and for Neccipr Roundtable.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Congratulations, Stanbic IBTC. We celebrate you. Well done. Thank you. So we'd like to call on the Second Financial Services First Bank Nigeria PLC. Is First Bank here? Representative of First Bank, can you give them a big round of applause? Oh, right. Well done, First Bank. Well
also, please
done.
clap for First Bank. These are people, they've never left me. No matter how small, they're always there. They have been the one helping to sustain PR Roundtable. So I want to say thank you for helping to change our narratives and for all you do in PR and in Neccipr Roundtable.
Thank you, and well super done, First Bank. So by no means the list, I mean, you see their balance sheet, so you know how big they are. Would like to invite Zenith Bank to receive the award. Zenith Bank PLC. Do we have a representative of Zenith Bank? No, if we don't, we can leave that on the side. And then would like to call on this organization that has been very supportive over the years. I'm not sure that you saw my video when I was skinnier than this on Neccipr. It just goes to show you how long I've been with Mrs. A on this project. And for every year that we have been, we have seen NIMASA. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please give NIMASA a big, big round of applause? Thank you, NIMASA. Do we have a representative? I know we always used to have Hajia, but I think she's retired, hasn't she?
Actually, so,
Is she here? No?
But a rep was actually...
Oh, a rep?
Is not here.
Do we have
okay.
NIMASA?
Okay, so we'll keep it for them.
Okay, so we'll keep it for them. Thank you so much, Mrs. A. Not sure if you want to make a few remarks before we give our chairman the audience to round up our events and we go to lunch. Thank you.
Well, what can I say? Each year, I was asked a few minutes ago what has been my challenges, what has been the motivation. I think you are all my motivation. Each year I come here and you respond to me. It inspires me. That means we are doing something right.
Keep the applause coming. Applause coming.
And a lot of people want to come. But we ask ourselves, where are we going to put them when they come? Because we have challenges of funds. You don't want to invite somebody, you have nothing to give to the person, or you are not able to pay for the room. I don't need to tell anybody how much a co-hotel costs. A lot of people have asked me, why don't you take it to another venue? We can't, because this is already our brand. And I don't want to go begging, but I can solicit for help. You know, so I'm very happy you're here. One of the things that drive me is the passion I have for my country, Nigeria. I'm a true Nigerian. I believe in Nigeria. And I know that God has blessed this country with many resources, both human and material. And I know collectively we can do something to make Nigeria regain its past glory. And that is being intentional, deliberate in what we do, in what we say, and in the policies that we bring out. And Neccipr Roundtable is here to help you disseminate the information, take it around the world, for that is what communication does. So in everything you do, whether you are a banker, you are a pharmacist, you are a medical doctor, you are a soldier, please take the hand of a PR person along with you and you never go wrong. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. A. You have just one more thing to do. We didn't see Haja here, but she does have a representative.
Yeah.
Dr. Nwakwesi is her representative.
How did we do that? Because we called Nemiasa before. Yeah, her representative, Dr. Ifi Nwakwesi.
Yes. Give her a round of applause, please.
Hajia Lami is not here today. She couldn't come from Abuja because she has another engagement. But Hajia is one that I need to recognize. She actually brought me into NIMASA. And the years she brought me to NIMASA, she has always been there for PR Roundtable. She has always encouraged me, even when things don't look right. I say, look, Nkechi, you can do it. If I have the brain you have, I can do it. You can, you know, always encouraging. You know, like I tell people, this thing we do is not about money. It's about the passion. So whatever little you give us, we are able to do what we do. And that is what Hajia has done for us over time. Congratulations, madam.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Congratulations, Hajia Tumaka, represented by Dr. Ifi Nwakwesi. A big round of applause, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say to you, just before we take our chairman's last words, that you've been an amazing audience.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so delighted to receive this award from my very good friend, Hajia La.B-J Tumaka, a media guru, publicity guru, and a motivational speaker. She's actually one of my encouragers. And Nkechi, I can testify to what you're saying. We need women to support women. We need women that will stop backbiting other women and envying. Let's hold each other's hand as we climb the ladder of changing Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you, my amazing audience. Would like to invite our chairman to give her closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, do the honors.
So I'd like to use this opportunity to thank my husband, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Balogun. I'd like to thank my daughter, Ikeolu Ali Balogun. Reason why I am thanking her is not because she's my daughter. She actually doubles as my PA. All through this holiday, she's my research assistant. I give her work to do, I give her research to do, and sometimes I pay her. No, she insists I pay her, but she is very hardworking and she gives me the results I need. And so I'm very proud of Pan Atlantic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my able panelists. In fact, when I was doing my point, they said, you mean you have these Timber and Caliber as panelists? I said, yes, because what we're talking about is a serious matter. And so I want to thank Professor Mbang Femi Oyewo, who actually is my mentor. I want to thank General Buba Mawa, ably represented by Dr. Shego. Okay? Okay. Oh, okay, I said okay. Okay. I want to thank Mr. Biodun Shoremekashiron, and then my sister Moji Shola Saka. Please, I need you to recognize that better for me. My graphics person, for one reason or the other, left out her name from the brochure.
He doesn't like my face.
And such a pretty face. You know, some ladies would have been angry and say, why would they leave me out? But that is Moji for you.
We love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And to all of you that come here every year, I want to say thank you for helping to sustain this dream. Because without you, there is no me. Thank you so much. Ubuntu.
Thank you. I'd like to invite, thank you, Mrs. A. I'd like to invite to give the closing remarks the chairman of the occasion, Senator Daisy Danjuma. Can we please give her a round of applause? Thank you, ma'am.
Distinguished audience, it's been a very, very remarkable day. We've learned a lot. I don't want to repeat what other people have said, but I would like to thank Nkechi Ali Balogun for sustaining this program. Next year, we'll all be here by the grace of God. Most importantly, the DG NAFDAC, who taught us a lot today. The panelists, thank you very, very much. It was very educative what you've taught us, informative and all. And all those who have spoken, asked questions, thank you very much. We've all learned a lot, and it's our duty to collectively make our country move forward. We are a progressive society. And very good afternoon to you all. God bless you and lead you back to your respective destination. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. See you next year. The moderator, you've done a very good job. Thank you very much. You were actually a panelist as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bam. Really appreciate the kind comments. Ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to thank you.
Nkiru gets her award when she has done 25 years. But Nkiru, you've been so wonderful. Thank you. You've been a sister and a friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think just to celebrate you as an audience, have you ever gone to an event, you will say clap, they'll just be looking at you. And you'll be thinking, what did I do wrong? Or you will say cheer, or you ask them, do you know? They'll be looking as if to say, wasting this one, they talk. So I want to thank you. You've been an amazing audience. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate. Oh my goodness, we didn't realize Mrs. Comfort was here or is here. She is the chairperson for Lagos NIPR. Where are you, ma'am? I didn't see you and I looked at the audience. Where are you, ma'am? Oh my goodness. Please, can you stand up for us to recognize you? Where is she? A critical stakeholder of ours. Always supportive. Where is she? The chairperson of the Lagos Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Thank you. Oh, I see you right at the back. Thank you, greatly appreciated. So ladies and gentlemen, we now declare this officially closed. DJ, this is how to turn on the music so that we're joyous. Thank you. DJ.
Nkechi has spent great energy and enthusiasm in inviting me to be present with you this morning.
For the general populace to embrace a new culture of zero corruption, they must be reoriented into believing that the fight against corruption is a collective duty of every citizen and not just the government.
A continent which should now be on the first lane with other civilizations is a basket case is because of corruption.
When you have a continent that cannot define its own pain, then the practitioners of that continent will have dialectic differences around defining the path forward.
This continent can only realize their potential if they choose to identify how to solve those problems.
The view to creating a positive investment ambience becomes a responsibility that rests squarely on the shoulders of public relations.
If you were a foreigner, would you invest in Nigeria?
Nigeria has locked itself into a side whereby it only thinks about exports from resources.
The crux of the Nigeria conundrum, our inability to create jobs.
We need to find a way to make sure we continue to integrate existing traditional institutions in the process and not create a parallel process that discountenances existing systems.
At a critical moment in this country's life.
What role did you play?
We're doing whatever we can to move this country from point A to point B, especially in terms of business. We are all shift workers. We finish one shift and we leave, and the next shift comes and takes over and continues from that shift. If the next shift comes and wants to start the building from ab initio, we would never complete the building. That is the story of Nigeria. Thank you.
If we can have a tribe of youth who essentially are the largest part of the population of this country and will continue to be into the future for many years to come, by statistics that is available, the largest part of the population of this country and this continent.
So what we're basically looking at here is that, look at those CDCs. Whereas some of them are bad, some of them are very good for us in the Western country. Some of them, but compared to global best practice, you can see it's quite a long distance. So let's look at the numbers.
The theme of the 20th edition of the Neccipr Roundtable is raising the venture capital funding clarity, the role of public relations in growing the enterprise base through venture capital funding.